you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet. Baying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall, a separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your host on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
And how are we doing out there all across this great land and around the world? Once again, time for the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with my co-host and partner in crime, Joe Hakos. And we are here to do what we do the best, and that is to educate, inform, and engage you, our listening audience, on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And we're glad you took the time. Oops. Almost fell out of my new chair today. Trying to adjust to all the new stuff that we have here in what I call my studio. Some people call it a cubbyhole. Some people call it a cave. Depends on who you are. All right. So another day on the political scene and weird stuff going on out there. Not any weirder than we can really expect. I mean, I think it's going to get weirder. A lot weirder. But anyway, let me bring on Joe tonight. How are you doing, Joe?
I'm good, John. Just hanging in there. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm glad everybody's here. It's good to have everybody here. It's about, they're here because you need to be here.
That's right. We're, this, I don't know, all day today I had this really kind of weird feeling. It's a feeling of pause, I guess. There's part of me that is resigned to the fact that for the next 6 months, the BS meter is going to be it's going to be pagan in the red all the time. And I think that's going to be coming a lot from both sides. I don't think it's going to be necessarily exclusive to one side or the other. And, so that gives me a little bit of pause because in the midst of all this, there's going to be so many people, I believe, that become more frustrated or disillusioned or feeling disenfranchised. It's kind of like a sadness to some degree, and I guess that's why it gives me pause.
A malaise. It will be the Jimmy Carter malaise.
Yeah. But you know what?
But we should be happy, John. I was really, really excited today because Barack Obama went against the grain and endorsed Hillary Clinton. I know everybody thought he was going to come out today and endorse Donald Trump, but that didn't happen today. He went against the grain and endorsed Hillary.
Well, this is so indicative, and I think it illustrates so well the general attitude of Barack Obama. He's not going to endorse anybody until he knows who the winner is. It's kind of like, and don't take any risks. Don't put anything out there that's going to deflect from his agenda or taint or tarnish his self-perceived legacy. So let's wait and see who rises from the ashes, and then we'll endorse that person. I did find it almost gagging, though, his comment about Hillary Clinton. There could be nobody more qualified for the office of president than Hillary Clinton.
Well, that's the reason what you were just saying. That's why I thought he was going to endorse Trump today. I just find I can't believe he endorsed Hillary Clinton. Oh, I am the man.
Actually, I thought, I kind of thought that he would actually really kind of refrain from endorsing anybody because his legacy is the most important thing to him. But it does indicate to us, though, there's one thing we can be sure of now, is that we know exactly what Hillary Clinton, what she wants to do. She is going to, if she gets in office, do everything in her power to continue the Obama fundamental transformation of the United States of America.
It is going to be the third term of Barack Obama.
That's right. So, and I'm surprised, that he didn't get up there and in espousing the qualifications of Hillary Clinton. We didn't hear this.
If we fall for a bunch of okey doke.
Yeah, okie doke. That's what we saw today. So, okay, that's the reason I really was stunned when he didn't endorse Trump. But that guy is just full of surprises.
Well, on the other side, of course, now what we're dealing with are the resurfacing of innuendo, accusations, and implications that the conservative, or not the conservative, but the GOP establishment is still entertaining the idea of trying to throw somebody out there, pulling somebody out of the waste bin they call the establishment, and putting them out there to try to draw votes away from Donald Trump. But it does, I think, validate what we've been saying on this show for quite a while now. The establishment wants Hillary Clinton in the White House.
I'm surprised they don't pull out Thomas Dewey.
Oh, yeah.
Just pull his bones out from the grave and make him the guy. Yeah, just come out and endorse Hillary Clinton then, Mr. Ryan. Just endorse, just get out there and endorse Hillary Clinton, for crying out loud. Don't give me this crap, blah, 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 blah. That's not true. A third party candidate's not a vote for Hillary Clinton. Bull crap, it's not.
No.
And everybody damn well knows it.
Yeah.
So it's like, stop it.
Anybody that believes at this point, at this juncture, that you could throw a third party candidate out there and actually win. The only person that could go third party and possibly win would be Donald Trump. I mean, there's one of the things that I was made aware of last night, which I hadn't really paid much attention to, but one of the things I was made aware of last night was that Donald Trump has accumulated more votes than any Republican candidate in the history of the primaries.
Yes.
And if that doesn't tell you, that, in my opinion, that completely discredits all the claims that in a general election, Donald Trump can't win. I mean, you just think about that. If everybody that's voted for Hillary votes for Hillary, and everybody that votes for Trump votes for Trump, Trump wins. Because there haven't been that many who have voted for Hillary Clinton compared to how many have voted for Donald Trump. Now, of course, in the mix is the Bernie Sanders crowd.
Which is why Obama did what he did today. He did that after Bernie came and talked with the great Obozo. And so, it's like, okay, Bernie, this is what we're going to do. And so we're going to give you a chance at the convention. So just be prepared. I'm not endorsing Trump. I'm going to endorse Hillary today. So just be prepared, Bernie. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah, well, I well imagine that. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall today in the room in which they were talking, Bernie Sanders and Barack Obama.
He threw him some bones. But then again, hey, Bernie, don't trust these people.
Yeah, Bernie, they'll lie to you just as well as they'll lie to anybody else. You got to make sure that you understand what you're playing with here. You may be so lost in the idea that you've accomplished so much that you may actually believe that they really care about what you think.
Exactly. And they're like, hey, okay, we got what we needed. Now we're just moving on, and screw Bernie. We're just going on and doing what we're going to do anyway. Yeah. What's he going to do? Whine and complain?
Yeah. What are you going to do, Bernie? If you want to be duped, just come on over and join the GOP. They'll be more than glad to tell you that they're representing you. They'll even ask you what they want. Yeah, okay, give us a clue. They'll send you some campaign letters, Bernie. And those campaign letters will say, tell us what you think we need to do and send us some money in the process so that we can do it. If you want to buy into that lie, Bernie, you go right ahead. If you think you're relevant other than the votes that you've gotten, and what I think will happen, and I think if Trump is smart, Trump shouldn't be so concerned, I think, at this point. This is something the Democrats do to the Republicans. He shouldn't be so concerned with getting people to vote for him. He should be focused on getting people not to show up at all. That because that's what they do, and the Democrats do with the Republicans. They try to discourage and just get everybody to throw their hands up and go, no problem. Everybody's so crooked. Everybody's so corrupt. Everybody's out for themselves. Why do I even bother to vote? That should be the Trump strategy, because I bet you 90% of those Bernie Sanders supporters are already thinking, the hell with this.
Well, that's what the established Republicans do now, John.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. So they need to. Trump needs to borrow a page out of that book. So, hey, anyway, we got to go to our first break. After we get back here, we've got two topics that we're going to talk about today. Joe has stumbled upon something I think is very well worth talking about, and that is the use of social media as a qualifier for employment. And we've heard stuff about that in the past. There have been private companies that have employed this as part of their hiring process, but it's being implemented at the public service sector level, and that you should be very concerned with, because that might determine just exactly what you could do. Is every department could become like the State Department. You've got to be a true believer to get hired by the government. That could be where it leads to. We'll talk about that when we get back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first, and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing, and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish, because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardosa.
Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Syndicate, Real Conservative Talk from Real Conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And let's get into this topic here. This is, we try very hard in this show, whenever we have the opportunity, to bring things out that just literally nobody else even looks at. I think we were way ahead of the curve. Some of the things I'm talking about last year, I think we were ahead of the curve with the net neutrality situation that came out. We were, I think, one of the first people out there, if not the first, to bring forward the whole narrative about splitter strategy and contested conventions and brokered conventions and all these kind of things. So we try to be on the forefront of really what's important. And sometimes it's hard to discern what's important with all the hokey poke that's out there.
Okey doke.
Okey doke. Yeah, hokey doke. I keep thinking hokey poke.
You keep wanting to put your left foot in and your left foot out and all that stuff, and that's not how we do it here.
No, I was thinking of the card game and the ridiculous looking rabbit that they created called hokey poke. That's something that came over from Japan. Kind of like Astro Boy, that kind of thing. Anyway, so Joe came across this topic here that a lot of people just probably aren't even aware of. I mean, this is probably well low on the radar of most people, unless, of course, you have worked in private sector recently and had to apply for a job and had to sign some kind of disclosure or permission to allow your tentative employer to research and follow you on social media to see what kind of person you are. And it is integrated or evolved over to the public sector, and there is actually a 7-page directive on this now. So I'm going to turn the con over to Joe, and he can explain to you what's going on here.
Yeah, this is this is in the context of what I found really interesting is, let's just think, could Huma Abedin or Cheryl Mills or any of these people that have been deposed recently under the Judicial Watch Freedom of Information Act investigation on Hillary Clinton's emails, could even Hillary Clinton be able to get a clearance? This is a clearance, and this is from the collection, use, and retention of this is the key, publicly available social media information and personal security background investigations and adjudications. So to get a security clearance or to keep a security clearance that allows you to be around sensitive information that our government has, just like Hillary Clinton at the State Department.
Okay, so now why don't you break this down for us?
So, again, this is all in reference to the National Security Act tonight. Now they're going to cover this under National Security Act, and this comes from Mr. James R. Clapper. Mr. Clapper, let me get to his webpage here. I got this written down. He is the Director of National Intelligence, which is kind of could be an oxymoron. But he is James R. Clapper. So that's who signed this initiative, and this was signed back just a month ago, a little less than a month ago on 12 May. So it's effective the day it was signed. And now the purpose of this is to address the collection and use of publicly available social media during the conduct of a personal security and background investigation adjudication for determining initial or contingent eligibility for access to classified national security information or eligibility to hold a sensitive position and retention of such information. So that's what they're going to use this directive for. Now, who gets to do this? Well, obviously there are agencies out there that do background investigations for people that might come across sensitive information or what the government considers sensitive information. And if you've ever worked for the government on any levels, you're going to get a background check. You go ahead and try to raise your hand and try to enlist in today's all-volunteer armed forces. You're going to have a background check done. I'm sure probably a lot of people out there had someone come up, some special agent knock on your door and say, do you know this individual? Blah, 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 blah. They're trying to join the military. And that's what's going on. That's what we're talking about here.
Yeah. I know. I went through that. You went through that.
Yeah.
I remember when I enlisted, I went into the field of anti-submarine warfare, required a secret clearance. And one of the first things, you never really, I guess, when you get into something like that, and I was 18 at the time, it's not like you really give a whole lot of thought behind it. And I came home. I remember coming home the first time on leave, and hooking up with my buddies, and all of them, or several of them, telling me, "Hey, what's the FBI checking on you for?"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it was that's what it was. It was a background check to make sure I was not affiliated with any associations, had no associations that were seeking to undermine or destroy the Constitution or come against the country as a whole, that kind of thing. So, So,
and they're going to check. They're going to check if you have a criminal record, all that kind of stuff. I mean, you can't even get into the military today if you have an outstanding parking ticket. But yet, Hillary Clinton's out there running around with all kind of emails and whatever that have sensitive, classified information on it on a private server that she set up for her convenience.
Yeah, I know that to be a fact too. Our youngest son tried to enlist in the Army, and unfortunately, at the time, he had a DUI against him, and they turned him down.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're not going to take it. But here's the thing. Here's the kicker about this. It's that it's expanded. It's one thing to do a background check your police record, maybe go out there, converse with people that know you, teachers, maybe schools, that kind of thing. Get kind of be able to put together a kind of a profile on you. But to be able to access information on a social media site.
Well, it's publicly available social media.
Yeah.
Let's talk about who covered individual, because that's what we're talking about. A person who performs work on the behalf of the executive branch, that kind of stuff, but does not include the president, the vice president, or their employees. A person who works on behalf of a state, local, tribal, or private sector entity as defined in another executive order, but does not include duly elected appointed governors of a state, territory, or official who has succeeded in office under the applicable law. Here's another one. Persons working for or for the legislative or judicial branches and the investigation or determination is conducted by the executive branch. These people are not being included in this. Members, not included members of Congress, Supreme Court justices, federal judges is appointed by the president. But what are we looking at? We're looking at publicly available social media information. Any electronic social media information that has been published or broadcast for public consumption is available on request to the public, is accessible online to the public, is available to the public by subscription or purchase, or is otherwise lawfully accessible to the public. That's where they're looking.
Okay. Well, I guess in that respect, if you're out there publishing stuff on social media, I guess what the pause in my mind would be, are they going to, if people are out there publishing stuff on social media, obviously we're talking about a First Amendment issue here.
Yep.
And so what we're saying is we can use your First Amendment rights against you. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm going to play the devil's advocate here just for a moment.
Okay.
And say, in the interest of national security, I could see this as an exception to the rule. I could see this as saying, okay, we because working for the government to some degree, especially in the military, this is something I think people don't grasp. When you enlist or receive a commission in the military, you essentially give up most of your rights.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
You don't. You don't essentially give up most of your rights. You essentially say you're going to follow certain rules, and you're not allowed to do certain things that the people in the public and people, civilians, can do.
Okay,
but you don't give up your rights. It's
we're basically saying the same thing. Like if I was in the military,
yes,
I could not go out on social media and make comments that would be detrimental to my commander in chief, whether I like it or not. That is, I don't know how it is today. I know when I was in, that would put you subject to the UCMJ.
Yes, you're not allowed to do that. It's called the Hatch Act, and you're not allowed to do that.
Right.
Because what you're doing, that person, individual you're just talking about, is at the top of your chain of command.
Right. So you're basically, so in that regard, I have surrendered my right to express my opinion.
But you do the same thing if you were working at GE. I'm sure you can't go on social media and say detrimental things about the person in charge of General Electric or any other major corporation that you might be working for. It just would be bad form and probably not a wise career choice.
Yeah, but I would imagine, though, if we were to take two situations, one that we just said in the military and one out there in the private sector,
there is a difference.
The person in the private sector would have more of an argument as, this is my view.
Yes, but the person in the military, doesn't matter if that's your view because it's against the law.
Right, so exactly.
They can prosecute you for that.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying there's a lot of things that when you come into public sector that you agree to. For instance, my next door neighbor worked for HUD. He worked for HUD for a while. He just retired. He retired out of there. And I had asked him to come on once and record a bumper for me.
Yeah.
And I said, just because I said, you got a good radio voice. I'd like to, I'd like to steal about 15 minutes of your time, have you come in, read a script that will take about 1 minute, and be able to use your voice. Well, when he asked me what it was for, I said, well, it's for my radio show. He said, oh, I can't do that. I said, why can't you do that? He says, because that's involving me in public politics, and I can't do that as an employee of the housing department. And I said, I would question that, but I understood what he was saying.
Yeah.
He was saying, I don't want to get in the middle of something here that could come back and bite me in the butt. And so, that's what I mean here. So, again, playing the devil's advocate, I could see this to some extent to say, okay, if you're out there publishing stuff out there in social media, that the government needs to be burned to the ground, and now you're going to apply for a job at Homeland Security.
Yeah, or the TSA or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I think that's valid. But if you're, let's say you're going to be a dispersing clerk, down at the Navy Exchange, or you're going to be a cashier.
Well, that gets into this part on this. These are for sensitive positions, and they define any position with or in support of an agency which I can bring about by virtue of the nature of the position, material adverse effect on national security, regardless of whether the occupant has access to classified information and regardless of whether the occupant is an employee, military service member, or contractor. So it ain't for the person working at the exchange. Okay, it's for people working in offices that might have sensitive information.
Okay, now we got to go to a break here. When we come back, though, I want to let's just weigh out the pros and cons of this. Let's just say, is it good in some degree? Is it not good in another degree? Because I'm just always naturally skeptical of anything that the government wants to to do.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, yeah, we should get into that after the break then.
Yeah. So let's take our break here. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
State Talk Radio, WRS Cleveland.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest. Who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923 and like them on Facebook and you'll be included in contests and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So, why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame. He owed money to the IRS and they finally caught up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get to Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world. Then bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474.
All right. Hey, we're back. You're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, Real Conservative Talk from Real Conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And, let's get back here because Joe struck some hot coals here. He's got something I think is worth talking about. And we're talking about this idea or this directive that has been issued now by James Clapper, head of the national security out there at the White House.
He's Director of National Intelligence.
I'm sorry, Director of National Intelligence. As you said, the oxymoron is not lost on me. Okay, I go along with you with that. The idea here behind this directive is basically letting people know that if they apply for positions that qualify under this directive, that their social media can be used in determining whether or not they should be allowed to have access to sensitive information, classified information, I imagine from one degree to another.
And you know what's surprising? You know what surprises me with this? That it's taken this long to actually make this happen. That this had not been actually written down before.
Yeah, that's kind of strange, really. I mean, you would think, though, that it would have been in some other form, someplace. I mean, because you and I were just talking about our own personal experiences, that these kind of things happen. I guess, was this just a standard operating procedure before, and now that somebody said, hey, and then the other thing would be, is it the situation with Hillary's emails that caused this to come about?
I don't know about... I don't know about Hillary's emails causing anything to come about because she's still walking around as a free person. But let's talk. And here's what we're talking about. Let's get to some other. Let's get through with the definition. We've got one more definition to go over. We talked about a sensitive position here, right? And now let's talk about what social media, what exactly they're talking about in social media, publicly accessed social media. Okay. Now, or publicly available social media. Let me put it that way. Social media. They're defining it as websites, applications, and web-based tools that allow the curation and exchange of user-generated content through social media. People or groups can engage in dialogue, interact, and create, organize, edit, comment on, combine, and share content. That's what they're talking about, social media. So if you can do that on the internet or any kind of computing device, that's what they're going to be looking for. That's what they're going to look at. But it has to be publicly available. Okay, now the pros of this, as I think we've kind of touched on. What do you have to add on that, Joe? The idea that if you got people that you're going to be hiring in sensitive positions, you want to know as much as you can about how what views they hold and how extreme or non-extreme they are in those views. I think that's applicable. I think it's fairly reasonable. Now, understand that. You can set up, especially at Facebook, you can set up that other people can post stuff on your timeline, and it looks like you're posting it, but somebody else has posted it on there. Now, you have to be careful with that. But that can happen. Now they should be able to go ahead and say, hey, what about this? And you go, I didn't post that on there. That was a quote-unquote friend. Now, the other side of this, could this be, knowing the way that the government is, and the government being, give them an inch and they'll take a mile. Yeah. Could this be a method by which, let's say, in a typical job opening, in a typical job in the Department of
of Justice or Department, or this says here specifically in the executive branch somewhere.
Well, no. This is throughout the government. Now, understand now, this ain't just for job openings, for applications. This is to, because your security clearance only lasts for so long, and it has to be re-adjudicated. And so they're going to do a reinvestigation.
Okay.
And so for you to maintain your clearance, they're going to start looking at this.
So you'd have to be on good behavior in order to maintain that clearance.
Well, that's the possibility. That's the kind of what this is kind of saying. And let's understand who we're talking about. James Clapper. Okay, I don't know if people remember this guy. James Clapper was when they were talking about the NSA collection of bulk collection of data. And James Clapper was asked this particular question. I'll read it out to you. Could you give me an answer to the question? Does the NSA collect any type of data at all on millions or hundreds of millions of Americans? That's the question that was asked to him. And he goes, and Clapper's answer was no, sir. And then it does not. And then Clapper says, not wittingly. There are cases where they could inadvertently perhaps collect, but not wittingly. And and it's always better if we hear it right from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So here we go.
Yeah. You're leading right to where I was going with this. It could this also be used, like I said, a job comes open in a department somewhere in the government.
Yeah.
And you're going to put out a job description. You're going to say, okay, this job is open. Now, my workings with the military or with the government is this: the first people that get to apply are people that are already in the system.
That's correct.
Okay, people that may be already employed, and then from there, it may be people that have submitted applications but never made it past the initial process.
Yeah.
Okay, but in the process of that, you don't tell the public that. You just tell this is the job. Okay.
Well, you don't see the public wouldn't even see that.
Right. They wouldn't know that that's the process is being employed here. So everybody starts dumping applications in. It's another source of data mining. You could literally use job openings or announcements on jobs to accumulate and acquire massive amounts of data on people out there in the private sector.
Yeah, well, let's listen to Clapper here just for a second, okay?
Does the NSA collect any type of data at all on millions or hundreds of millions of Americans?
No, sir.
It does not.
Not wittingly. There are cases where they could inadvertently, perhaps, collect, but not wittingly.
So that's who we're talking about here. And like John's saying, it's like, okay, now we're going to put full faith and confidence that they're going to use this information in a judicious manner. Mm-hmm. They're not going to use it to arbitrarily discipline people or use it to maliciously thin the herd, so to speak.
Let's say that let's ask a question. Could they use the data obtained from somebody applying for a government position to further say, hey, you know what, this person is of questionable character, and let's do a little research on him in that regard. Oh, I know. Let's put him on a no-fly list.
Well, I'm
taking it to extreme.
Yeah, exactly. I don't, who knows how far they want to take this data. I mean, they're using this data to, one, do initial investigations, two, to do continued investigations on people that already have clearances.
Right, right.
And these clearances, depending on the clearance, they don't just happen overnight.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And to lose a clearance like this, perhaps based on some assumption that somebody determines at some position of authority that something you said somewhere along the line being interpreted or being applied in a different manner because perhaps maybe you're being targeted from within, or just maybe I think what I'm getting at is I think that the intent of this, as you said, the timing of it. I think back on things, well, we got the situation with Hillary, but what about Edward Snowden? Snowden is a perfect example of what can happen. He's a contractor, right? He was private contractor, employed by the government, given a super secret clearance, and look what happened there.
Yeah.
So I think this may be the government's end around to be able to justify the accumulation of information on private citizens for their own determination as to whether that person imposes a threat, whether or not they're applying for a position in the government. I mean,
see, that's just it. I mean, you have to apply for it, and that's glad you went there, because it does. Shall only be conducted after obtaining a signed authorization of release of information, the standard form 86. Okay, questionnaire for national security positions, which includes the notice of collection of such information. On that form, they're going to say, we're going to do a background check on you. We're going to make sure that you are who you say you are. We're going to make sure that you don't have a criminal record. We're going to ask your neighbors about, because they want to go back for I think it's 10 years. They want to go back with people that know you, and you're going to try to come up with addresses and names of people that you might not have seen for 15 years, that kind of stuff. So it's not just every citizen like they were asking Clapper there at the congressional hearing. That was bulk collection of data. These people are signing a form saying, yes, I agree for you to go ahead and do a background check on me. Now, just because we got to take a break. Sorry.
Oh, are we at break time? Oh, wow. I was just totally enthralled with what you were saying. Forgot all about the clock. We'll be right back, guys. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing, and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish, because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Attention taxpayers! If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. All
right, hey, let's get right back to this. You're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, and we are here to educate, inform, and engage you, our listening audience. Joe, go.
Okay, so, like we were saying, it's not just everybody. They're not just out there checking everybody's Facebook accounts out. But, this is publicly available social media. So let's get to what they can and can't do here, okay? Now, obviously, you've authorized them because you want to get a job with the government, or you are getting re-adjudicated and you want to keep your security clearance to keep the job you already have. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So, only public available social media information pertaining to the covered individual under investigation shall be intentionally collected. Absent a national security concern or criminal reporting requirement, information pertaining to individuals other than the covered individual will not be investigated or pursued. So, in other words, if they're looking at they won't be looking at they're not supposed to be looking at your associations on Facebook or Twitter or those kind of things, or your websites. If you have a website and you have contributors to your website, they're not supposed to be going after and looking at those people while they're investigating you.
Yeah, and now how in the world is that not going to happen?
I understand. Okay, so let me get through this. Okay, now information inadvertently collected related to other individuals shall not be retained unless that information is relevant to a security determination of the covered individual.
Oh, that's another one. That's another way of saying it won't be pertinent unless we decide it's pertinent.
Yeah, exactly. Unless we say it's pertinent. Yeah, unless we say it's important to our investigation. Well, if we keep it, it's because we thought it was important.
And now we get back to what I was saying earlier.
Yes.
See, because this is where it all goes. You can be guilty by association.
Thank you.
And not necessarily, I have people that post stuff on my Facebook page that I think are totally deranged.
At times, yes.
And some of them have made some pretty blatant statements. I get paranoid when I see somebody talk about taking out the president or something like that.
I don't want to ever get involved in that silliness.
I normally, when something like that happens, the first thing I do is I block them. I'll just say, no, I'll take the but see, just because you remove it from your timeline or hide it on Facebook doesn't mean that it's gone away.
Bingo. The internet is forever.
Right. That's data mining. That's what data mining is about. That's a collecting of information that James Clapper said they unwittingly get their hands on.
Yeah, not wittingly, but maybe inadvertently collect.
Yeah. So somebody's out there doing a security check on you, and they notice on your Facebook that you've got Joe Looney Bin, whose moniker is Unabomber.
Yeah.
And he starts posting stuff on your timeline, that kind of thing. Then you could have a problem, guilt by association.
Yeah. So
and both of you end up somewhere on a no-fly list. So you go down to purchase a gun and you can't.
Or worse.
Okay? Something like that. This is just an end around. This is some kind of end around that will allow the government, with your permission, to basically data mine everything about your life.
Yeah, if you want to have the job, then you're going to have to allow them to do this, because most of these jobs, it says the requirement is to have, for some of these, is to have at least a secret clearance.
Yeah.
Some of them even higher.
Yeah.
So, for you to get the job, you're going to have to allow them to do this if you don't already have the clearance.
Right.
So here's the other thing. Covered individuals shall not be requested or required to, while they can't ask you if you're under the investigation, they can't say, hey, give us your password. Give us we want you to log into this account. We want you to take any action that would to cause non-publicly available social media information. In other words, we want you to go like you can on Facebook make certain things only available to only certain people, so it's not publicly available.
Okay, so they could, let's say they could access. They could not access, let's say, your PayPal account. They would not be able to have access to that.
They're not supposed to be able to do that, because that would require you to go ahead and log into that. And it's like, no. It has to be publicly available. In other words, it has to be anybody on the internet that's able to see it.
Yeah. But let's say you're out there on your Facebook page and you get into a conversation with somebody about building homemade bombs. Okay, let's say that there's some kind of event out there, okay? Somebody tries to blow something up. And in the course of conversation, like we always do, let's say we begin the conversation something along the lines of, how do people get access to this much fertilizer?
Yeah.
Okay, and so you get into some conversation, somebody says, oh, well, there's a website out there that shows you how to build bombs with fertilizer. Okay, they see that on social media.
They put the link on your page.
And they put the link on your page, or somebody responds to a link that somebody else put on there, or something else. It just happens because that's what happens when you have everybody. You give everybody access to your social media. I do that.
So you can see the slippery slope that gets created here.
So you get assigned to guilt by association, and the next thing you know, somebody gives a subpoena to PayPal wanting to know if you've purchased large amounts of fertilizer in the last 6 months, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it gets, But now, the agency doing the investigation, there's certain things that they can't do either. They can't create an account or use existing accounts on social media for the purpose of connecting. Example would be they would put a friend request out there or want to follow you on Twitter to a covered individual, or to enlist the assistance of a third party or another friend in order to bypass the privacy controls and or access otherwise non-publicly available social media information. Agencies shall not request that a covered individual connect to an agency account or access their account from an agency system in order to provide access to the information which would be otherwise protected from public view. So they can't say, we want you to use our computer and we want you to go to your Facebook account and log into that sucker for us.
Yeah.
So, because they would never have a key counter or something on there, that a key logger, so they can actually see what your password was and then just log on in there after you leave.
Well, all they'd have to do is just go over to Hillary's computer in her office, the one that nobody uses, that has no password on it.
Has no password on it. Yes, that's crazy. But what's this all come down to? It says, when an adjudicative determination is made to deny or revoke eligibility for access to classified information or eligibility to hold a sensitive position, the covered individual shall be afforded the review procedures in accordance with an executive order as amended in Part 5, of which I don't have that right now because, it wasn't that important to me. Yeah. But there is a quote-unquote process for you to refute the claims made by the investigators. For your adjudication or initial screening.
Okay, which would put you probably into a grievance system that if the government is true to form, you would probably die before you ever got in front of an actual board.
Yeah, you might as well hang it up. You're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah, you'd get put in Facebook jail, literally.
The Facebook gulag, yeah. This was signed by Clapper on the 12th of May. So, I mean...
I was thinking initially when we started this conversation that this might have been a fallout from the Hillary Clinton thing. I'm thinking probably more of a fallout from the Edward Snowden thing.
Yeah, but the thing is it just happened last month, John.
Oh, yeah, but let's remember, Joe, when we talk about something like this hitting the public eye, this is probably something that they've been putting together for a couple of years.
Well, they do understand the ramifications because, as you said, there are First Amendment issues here.
Yeah, and I would imagine somewhere around the time James Clapper was asked about whether or not they collect data on hundreds of millions of people, that somewhere along the line somebody says, we got to cover our tracks here, and they began the process of determining this directive that we're looking at right now.
Yeah, well, when he was asked that question, that was March 12th, 2013. It's now... He finally signed this 12 May 2016. It's a little over 3.
3 years. That sounds about right. That sounds like standard government protocol to go from point A to point B.
That's government efficiency at its best. Yes.
Yeah, that's the fastest you've ever seen Obama's administration move on anything.
Well, we are talking of national intelligence.
Yeah. So, So that's quite interesting. There's something to keep an eye on. And I guess the only other thing we would probably maybe want to examine somewhere down the line there is how something like this would fit within the spectrum of net neutrality.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing I would want to let people know is just understand that the government's out there and they can and will look at your social media inputs.
Yeah, which is why I tell people when they ask me why don't I run for office, have you checked out my Facebook page?
Yeah.
I would be prime target
Now, if they take this to the nth degree and do like they did over in Germany, where Merkel asked Zuckerberg, you need to stop this anti-migrant talk on Facebook.
Right.
That's hate speech.
Yeah, or let's go after you people that deny climate change. Yeah.
And we're way late on this break.
All right, guys, we're coming up at the top of the hour here. Time for the Edwards Notebook. We'll pay some bills. We'll get back to our next topic, and I think you'll enjoy it even more. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
Should we be promoting work ethic and entrepreneurship to American children, or more Big Brother government? Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, it has been stated that what is taught to one generation dictates the direction the nation takes in the next. So when I see American children being persecuted by big nanny-goat government for doing what I and many others did across America as children, it's more than a bit disconcerting. One of the joys of childhood has always been to strike out on one's own and set up a little lemonade stand. The rewards for operating such a business, including learning responsibility, how to interact with customers, and earn a little money, and learn general entrepreneurship, etc., all good stuff. So now big nanny-goat government in states like Louisiana have decided to be a killjoy and ticket young lemonade stand operators for not having a license. So instead of allowing American children to learn and benefit from positive free market activities and lessons, big government is on the muscle teaching children that it's okay for big government to bully people, ruin business activity, and so on, and that you too can grow up to be a big government pain in the backside. I'm Ron Edwards.
Blowing away the myths and revealing the truth. You can continue to blow away the myths with Ron Edwards on Facebook, Twitter, and theronedwards.com.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardosa. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardosa Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Hey, all you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
It's a latter-day prophet. Baying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall, a separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your host on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
All right, hey, we're back. Hour two here at the Conservative Syndicate. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And hey, you know, I didn't think of that, Joe. I didn't think that you might be a subject of your own covering of this.
Yes, it could quite possibly be.
Oh boy, that kind of makes me feel bad.
Well, it is what it is. I mean, you know, but like you said, and like I said, I did not. You know, I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution, not give up my rights doing it.
Yeah. Well, there is one difference there, and that is the main difference. Even though a lot of people, even though we can operate or be public sector employees, we can express our views, or we should be able to anyway. In this politically correct environment, though, you know, you just have to wonder. You just have to wonder how something like this could be turned around and used against each person who applies or complies with its directive, with the terms and conditions of such a directive. So,
yeah, it's exactly that. If you fear your government, then we have tyranny. That's the classic definition of tyranny. And so, if you fear your government, then you live in a state of tyranny. And that's what. And that, you know, I never believed that. Never really had that great fear of the government. You know, I remember, you know, the Nixon era and all that stuff, but never until this administration did I have an absolute fear of the government.
Yeah, you know, up until this point, it was kind of like what we often thought about and joke about is the idea, you know, just how corrupt the government can be, and just how their ineptness can actually trigger a chain of events that, you know, just bring about total chaos. You know, we joke about it because the central thought behind most of what we believe with the government is they're too inept to do something like that. If they did it, they would do it by accident.
Yeah, there's no way they could actually plan it out.
Yeah, but this administration came in with a very concerted effort and very focused idea as to how they were going to pull this off, and done a damn good job of it.
And
so
you
much
know,
so
it's the never-ending attack on your Fourth Amendment rights.
Yeah.
You know, they always want to play security over privacy.
Right.
And it's like,
right.
Okay, well, you know, it comes down to we have a right to our privacy.
Yeah,
and we
you know,
we have a right to what we think. And that's part of being a conservative.
Yeah.
You know, you have this right to be able to say and think what you want.
You know, I'm just one of the things just crossed my mind here as we're sitting here dancing around with this.
Okay.
Given what the directive is about, why would somebody why hasn't somebody looked at this thing and said, you know, we need to do a check on Bernie Sanders' social media?
Well, he's in Congress, so he's exempt.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I
That's
read
right.
that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll exempt the people that really are the danger, and we'll go after the people that probably have a snowflake's chance in hell of pulling it off should they be dissidents, you know.
Who has the most likely to have an effect on hundreds of millions of people?
Yeah, it would be
That's the people we're not going to check on.
Yeah,
the other people we'll check on.
Yeah, it would be that Democratic Socialist that accrued somewhere around 50 to 60 million votes during the primary process.
Yeah, whose people went out and decided that they didn't like what Donald Trump was saying, so let's go attack anybody that wears a Make America Great Again hat.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing.
But the press is out there going, well, Donald Trump said something nasty about a Mexican-American heritage judge.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back in reality land, Hillary Clinton has been compromised to the point where we know, and we'll hear about it. It's going to come out. The Chinese have it, the Russians have it, the Iranians have it, the North Koreans have all her stuff. If the guy sitting there in jail right now that's making the plea bargain deal, the Guccifer guy, the Romanian hacker, if he could get to it, these other guys, I mean, for crying out loud, the Chinese have a whole freaking building dedicated to hacking American websites.
Yeah.
And email.
Yeah. Well, I again with the Obama endorsement today of Hillary Clinton, which, by the way, there are people already out here questioning whether that in and of itself is another an attempt to undermine the Constitution. Should sitting presidents be allowed to endorse people that are running?
Well, he's allowed to endorse. He's got an opinion. Now, should he go out and actively campaign and use the Obama initiative or the Obama fund or whatever it is that he took all that campaign cash and that he built up in his 2 election runs? Now, he puts that towards Hillary Clinton's campaign. Now, there might be something little fishy with that now.
Well, it's going to be interesting because he is supposed to appear with Hillary Clinton next week in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Oh, so they can go have some mighty cheese.
Okay, so what we need to be interested in, what we need to watch for, is what government function Barack Obama is going to justify going to Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm sure he's going to say something like, I need to talk about the economy in Green Bay.
Yeah, something about that. I'm going to give another one of my stupendous speeches on the state of the economy in Green Bay. And by the way, while I'm there, I'll be endorsing Hillary Clinton. I'll be campaigning with her and maybe attending some fundraisers.
So don't be fooled by the okie doke.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, we got that going on. It remains to be seen what happens there. Anyway, it's our short segment, guys. We're ready to take a break here, and finally, I have a new Moments of Madness. I hope you enjoy it. We'll be back in just a moment. Today on Moments of Madness. Now that Hillary's $12,000 Armani jacket has been stored away with more concern for its security than her email server, we can take a presumptive look at what her campaign as well as the DNC platform on what she will run will look like. Providing, of course, plans do not change from running for office to being fitted for an orange jumpsuit complete with her own monogrammed inmate number. Bernie Sanders' strong finish in the last of the national primaries, he won Montana and North Dakota, finished close everywhere else, and was only blown out in New Mexico, has earned him a secret meeting with Barack Obama. One we can presume will seek to find common ground on how open the DNC should be in their evolving transformation of the United States of America from republicanism with its greedy capitalistic economic system to the Marxist wealth redistribution model. Obama envisions utilizing creative destruction, the transferring of independent wealth to the coffers of the central planners. The GOP platform will be no less interesting. Dealing with the fallout of Donald Trump's populist tsunami, one that shows no signs of letting up, the GOP establishment is plotting their survival course by attempting to prove the only attire Trump is fit to wear is a straitjacket, complete with accessorized restraining straps. Their platform also promises to be an experiment in evolutionary monetarism as they paint their planks Obama blue while trying to convince us it is still Reagan red. So intent are they to destroy Trump, they are still trying to sell the idea an independent candidate of their choice can once again dupe their base into supporting their false narrative of limited government can only be achieved through unlimited compromise. Here's the madness. One thing we can be sure of. We won't have to worry about either side taking time to articulate how their respective positions are going to reduce poverty, restore racial tranquility, and save the world from that nasty JV team in the Middle East. Paul Ryan's latest attempt at putting together a blueprint of recovery, this time entitled A Better Way. Remember the path toward prosperity? Yeah, neither do I. Prefaces his rehashed plan with a benevolent scolding of those who believe complaining plays no part in finding a solution, as if to imply identifying and debating the problems we face today are irrelevant in the process of determining their solutions. We can complain about it, our current direction, but that won't change things, Speaker Ryan begins, and he's right. As far as we can tell, our complaints have fallen on the deaf ears of him and his cronies for decades now. The Democrats, not much there either. Continue to lie, spin, and deceive their base into believing the only thing that has inhibited Obama's grand plan of transformation is time and seats on the Supreme Court of the United States bench. I wouldn't be surprised if their platform consists of one sentence, see previous administration. So what can we expect in a race that both sides claim is crucial to our survival, but shows all signs point to populist rhetoric embraced by an ignorant electorate? We can expect to be further nurtured and exploited at our expense by both sides. From the left, we can expect to be inundated with verbal gaffes elevated to policy positions by the media, racial and gender tensions to be played as the defining factors in job qualifications as well as patriotic indicators by their nominee, scandals as nothing more than a justifiable means to an end, and of course the premise of socio-economic equality at the expense of American exceptionalism, which preaches opportunity over entitlement. From the other side, we can expect rhetorical unity to hide fear and disdain for those of us who have placed them in office. We can expect the same promises made to us repackaged to appeal to those who historically support the likes of Obama and Clinton. Join us so we can stop the Democrats' destruction of America. Give us the chance to lie to you. Is there a bright side? Perhaps. Hillary Clinton speaking on election night, once again adorned in her Armani jacket, announcing she has won the election but will spend her first 100 days trying to avoid having to replace it with that orange jumpsuit sounds good. Or breaking news, the GOP establishment folks are lining up and jumping out of their Plaza Suite windows. Either scenario has got to be the silver lining on the storm that is quickly descending upon us. This reminds me, by the way, I need a new umbrella. This is John Matthews for Moments of Madness. Okay, hey, we're back. You are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, Real Conservative Talk from Real Conservatives. And I hope you enjoyed that latest edition of Moments of Madness.
I loved it. I thought that was great, man. I loved it. Where can you get a new umbrella?
I started out this morning writing.
Well, they're not mine. They belong to the State Department.
Oh, my goodness.
Everyday Americans need a champion, and I want to be that champion.
I'm sorry, John. I don't know how she got in there. I don't know how she got in there, John. She just now that she's been endorsed by Barack, I think she thinks she can just do anything she wants now.
Yeah, and she once again is out there just saying without unequivocal doubt, there's going to be there's going to be no negative outcome of this investigation by the FBI.
I'm tired.
Oh yeah, it's just like the '90s. All those just halcyon years of the '90s. Just Bill and Hillary and Monica and
yeah.
Oh, just can't wait.
Yeah, so it's going to be. I'm just curious though, as Barack Obama, as I don't know how he's going to package his campaign here, his campaigning for Hillary Clinton. But I can guarantee you it really isn't going to be that much about Hillary Clinton. It's going to be about him. He's going to use it to tout the continuation of everything that he began. That's what it's going to be. He's using this to cover himself, to make himself look good. Like I said, this guy's prepping his resume, my friends. He's prepping his resume for world domination out there at the UN.
Yeah,
and that don't be fooled that him and Hillary Clinton have somehow overcome all their dislike for each other, and now they're best friends.
No, they're far from that. I think, let's just. I know this is crazy, and I don't really want you to do this, but put yourself in Hillary's shoes. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm saying that. But the thing is, you can't get too much on Obama's coattails, because then again, it basically becomes, gee, is Barack Obama running for president again, or is Hillary Clinton doing it? It's like Barack Obama said, get on my coattails and I'll drag you across the finish line in November, Hillary. It's like, that's not, I don't think that's an ideal situation if you're trying to run for president. But then again, Hillary Clinton's not an ideal candidate to begin with.
No, and I think anybody on her side of the aisle is well aware of the fact that she needs all the help she can get. And if it means one more time, bending over and kissing the ass of Barack Obama for the endorsement that will perhaps solidify, if nothing else, definitely solidify that black vote, and perhaps even the Hispanic vote, and perhaps it could work in her. If there's anything that will work in her favor, this is it. We have to be honest about that.
Yeah, that's about the only thing that's going to work for her in her favor, because everything else is nothing but negatives. Yeah. Really, now you live in your state is predominantly a blue state, and so I'll ask you this question: do you see the enthusiasm out there that people are looking forward to the November elections and electing Hillary Clinton as their commander-in-chief?
Yeah, I think we're going to have...
Do you feel it palatable? Do you out there the excitement?
Yeah, I think we're going to have one last hurrah from the Sanders camp at the convention in July, and then I think all those college folks are just going to head back to campus and start trying to locate their newly formed safe spaces. I think that's
because Hillary's going to offend them with words.
Well, I think at this point the revolution is over, at least this time, and at least the revolution they were calling for.
Yeah, they want a total collapse of our economic system.
Yeah, obviously, a violent overthrow and total collapse.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and that isn't going to happen. So, okay, let's get back to school.
Let's go back to college and learn more about how great socialism is.
Right. So I think there's going to be a drastic drop-off in the number of people that actually end up showing up in November. Whereas on the Republican side, like you said, after listening to this Megyn Kelly focus group the other night, it seems set in stone that people that are supporting Trump, and if the numbers are true, if they're really indicative of a quote movement versus a nomination, there's not going to be much that's going to happen that's going to detour these people from showing up to vote for Trump.
Now, Trump needs to help everybody out by shutting his damn trap.
Yeah, he needs to. Yeah, he does. He needs to quit talking about things that pertain to his own personal life and start talking about things that pertain to our life. It's one thing to keep telling me that you're going to make America great. Now, I assume you mean you're going to make America great for me.
So for everybody.
And therefore, why don't you start telling me how that's going to, what is that going to actually look like?
Yeah, how you're going to make America great for everybody, and how Hillary Clinton's not even going to make it great for her. But you can't be doing that as you yelled on from the top of Trump Tower in Manhattan.
Yeah, about some Mexican judge in a civil case that nobody gives a rat's ass about. That's really what it's all about. Your ego needs appeasement. You need to prove something like we already know, Donald, you've had several failed businesses, okay? We understand that. I wish I had as many failed businesses as you did, because I'd be just as rich as you are, so.
Exactly.
Let's move on.
If you never do anything, you'll never do anything wrong.
Right.
So that's okay to try. Again, like I said, Edison said, just failure's just another path to victory and success.
I always refer myself back to that analogy. Babe Ruth, for the longest time, held the home run record. He also led the league in strikeouts.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. So, hey, then again, exactly, to use a baseball analogy, if you hit 3 out of every 10 times you get a hit, you're doing great.
Yeah.
It's less than 50%.
Yeah. I'll settle for that. Okay, let's move on here. We talked about this off and on, about actually discussing this. And now that we have a quote-unquote presumptive nominee for the Democrats, we can kind of focus on how this thing is going to look in the next 6 months, to whatever degree these people involuntarily talk about actual policies. I think most of the campaign is going to be tit for tat. I think most of it's just going to be mudslinging. I think, as I said in Moments of Madness, sound gaffes are going to be equated with policy positions. I mean, the littlest things are going to be made into the biggest, and the biggest things are going to disappear off the radar completely, because that's the way politics work today. We don't want to talk about the real issues. We don't want to talk about the records. I can't believe, like I said, Barack Obama saying that Hillary Clinton is the most qualified. Well, if just being around is qualification, then I should be the CEO of some major company, because I've been around for a long time. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything.
Exactly. I mean, that's just bad. That's right up here with, she's most qualified because she's a woman, and we need to have a woman in the White House.
Right. And I could go off on that particular topic really easy, and I'm not going to do it today. But it's festering in me.
But it's out there, John. That is out there. It is out there big time. They got these people actually saying this, and it was just all you had to do is replace black man with woman.
Right. Yeah.
Just go back 8 years. Yeah,
and the only thing that would have been better is if there was a nomination for a black lesbian woman. Now you got all the bases covered. Okay, a black lesbian Democratic socialist.
Oh, there you go. I don't know who believes in Silverback Lives Matter.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, we were like I said, I've been floating this out here for a while, but now that we know that what we're going to see here, what the campaign and the Clinton campaign is going to be about, when it does, when they happen to stumble on to actually talking about issues and stuff, it's going to be trying to sell the American public on the idea that everything that Barack Obama has done in his 8 years in office has been great for the country, and we need to continue that. Clinton's not going to come out with anything new. She may say it's new. Politicians do that all the time. They say and do the same thing. They repackage it. I mentioned it earlier. Paul Ryan coming out with a better way, a new plan for prosperity. And he came out in the last election with the path to prosperity. So he changed the title on what he originally had 3 years ago.
Ooh, Paul Ryan.
And repackaged it and said, yeah, this is the way it's got to be. This is what's going to make us great. And again, I was looking through it. I just kind of scanned through it this morning when I was able to locate it. And it's just rhetorical talking points again. Small government, taking back everything that the left, limited government, smaller government, providing opportunity for everybody, blah, 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 blah. Same old crap. It sounds exactly like the path to prosperity that he put out back in 2012 when people were floating the idea of him being a viable presidential candidate, ran as VP with Mitt Romney, that kind of thing.
Got exactly where with that particular plan? Nowhere. In fact, they gave Barack Obama everything he wanted.
Yep.
Funded everything. The Obama agenda was funded fully by the Republicans.
Yeah. So I refer to it as painting the Republican platform Obama blue, and I make that differentiation between American blue and Obama blue.
Yes.
Okay, it's a different shade of blue. It's Cuban blue. Okay, and telling us that it's still Reagan red. Okay, so that's really what it is. Now,
just crazy to think that Obama can go out there and tout his economic policies as being wonderful and grand, and in a place that he says has come back from the depths of the worst economic crisis in our lifetime, I think is how he put it.
Now, in fact, let me read the openings, a little bit of the opening remarks, and then we'll, as we go through the rest of this thing, several talking points that he presented to the people out there in Indiana. He was out there at Eckhart, Indiana, talking at, Concord? It was at Concord Community High School in Eckhart, Indiana. And, after the proverbial, I don't know what you call it.
Just platitudes.
Yeah, platitudes.
And you're going to graduate. Your life's going to suck after you leave.
Yeah.
And I'm going to help it suck even more because I'm going to take your stuff and give it to other people.
Yeah. So
That's
anyway,
not what he said. That's what he meant, though.
Okay, playing the emotional card. My daughter's getting ready to go to college, and I'm heartbroken, and then blah blah blah, all that kind of crap. Yep. And I'll give him that. I'm sure his daughter's as dear to him as mine is to me. So I'll give him that. All right, now, but he does say that he wants to talk about the economy. That's what he does. Okay. Now, I don't know how people can do this with a straight face, but I guess they've had so much practice. Anyway, one of the reasons we're told this has been an unusual election year is because people are anxious and uncertain about the economy. And our politics are a natural place to channel that frustration. So I wanted to come to the heartland, to the Midwest, back close to my hometown, to talk about that anxiety, that economic anxiety, and what I think it means. And what I've got to say really boils down to 2 points. Although I'm going to take a long time making these 2 points, okay?
He always does. He can't just get to the point. He has to... And it's like, really? You're putting me to sleep. Just get to the damn point already, buddy.
Yeah. Now, here they are. 2 points, which he gives before he then goes on to a long dissertation as to how right he is and how wrong everybody else is. Oh, by the way, we got to go to a break right now. So we'll have to do this after the break, okay? There we go. Subtext, suspense. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at Conservative Syndicate.
State Talk Radio, WRS Cleveland.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got. Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest. Who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923 and like them on Facebook and you'll be included in contests and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a four-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So, why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally cut up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get to Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world, then bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 866-657-8474, 866-657-8474, 866-657-8474, 866-657-8474.
All right, hey, we're back, and you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate. Hey, Syndicate. Let's get that out there all in its entirety. We want to remind you, visit our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, and catch this archive, all of them, all our archives. Find out what you want to know about our panel, what we do in this show, and how long we've been doing it. Everything you need to know, theconservativesyndicate.net. All right, we were just starting to talk about or discuss the speech that Barack Obama gave in Eckhart, Indiana last week at the Concord Community High School. And we were talking about how he very, very adamantly pointed out that his purpose for being there was to tout his economic accomplishments as president, which we can expect that this will be the message that carries out during the Clinton campaign.
Yep.
Is that Barack Obama has done it all right, and the only thing that's kept him from completely bringing about a total recovery and the creation of utopia is that those damn Republicans and, of course, not being able to put the people they want on the bench in the Supreme Court.
Absolutely, yeah, that's exactly right. Those evil Republicans, those Tea Party types, those conservative people that are holding back the Republican Party.
Right.
Because it's just because you can't say all Republicans, because Paul Ryan is supporting Obama wholeheartedly.
Right. Now, here we go. 2 points here. He makes them real quick at the beginning and then spends an
eternity,
a tremendous amount of time trying to make us believe that what he says is true. Number one, America's economy is not just better than it was 8 years ago. It is the strongest, most durable economy in the world. That's point number one.
That is very true. He has proven that the American economy is the most durable economy in the world. Absolutely, because we can prove that by we are still alive under Obama's economic policies.
Right. Now, point number two. Oh, no, I have a comment to make about point number one.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. America's economy is not just better than it was 8 years ago. True, the economy was in the tank 8 years ago, but the economy was in the tank 8 years ago because of the predecessor, the previous Democrat that was in the White House, Bill Clinton, who expanded the Redevelopment and Reinvestment Act that created the recession, created the housing meltdown that sent the economy into a spiral.
I can't believe you're going that far back in history and blaming Bill Clinton. My goodness, do you think he would do that again? Do you think Hillary would follow those policies?
Well, I could go even farther back than that if I really wanted to, go back to Jimmy Carter.
That's true.
Who actually was the one that got the legislation passed, the Redevelopment and Reinvestment Act, which Ronald Reagan was trying. I believe Ronald Reagan gave a shot, or at least tried to dismantle Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, which were the agencies that allowed the housing market to falsely look like it was on the rise.
Yes, and this allowed people of lesser means to own houses that were above their means.
Well, not just lesser means, lesser ability.
I was trying to be nice, John.
Okay, lesser ability, lesser honesty, all the words that apply that nobody wants to say. The willingness to give people loans under the backing of the full faith of the United States government.
Full faith and credit of the United States government. We will back these loans.
Right, so that we can create our utopian society where we have an Audi in every garage.
Because everybody has a right to own their house.
That's right. That's right.
So
the idea, the point being is that the economy tanked in part because Reagan did not follow through with what he was going to do, and Bush did the same thing. He played some lip service to it, but he turned around and walked away from it. And of course, the thing to me was the deciding factor was when the housing market collapsed. John McCain stands up there in the middle of his campaign and says, "The economy is strong. We've got nothing to worry about." That's the equivalent to George Bush Sr. standing up going, "Read my lips. No new taxes."
Taxes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, point number 2 Obama makes is that we can make it even stronger and expand opportunity for even more people. But to do that, we have to be honest about what our real challenges are, and we've got to make some smart decisions going forward.
Okay, it's climate change that's caused all this. I can tell you right now, it's all about climate change.
Right, and democratic socialism is the answer. Okay, now Obama would deny that phrase as sure as I'm sitting here. But that is what it is. That's what the secret meeting is about with Bernie Sanders and Barack Obama. How do we expand into democratic socialism and not call it democratic socialism?
Yeah, I think that's more what it was. Bernie, you got to shut your mouth. You keep telling these people this. We want to keep this kind of under wraps. We can't put it out there and just throw it in people's faces like that, Bernie. They won't take it. They'll reject the matrix. They'll stop, Bernie.
That's right, Bernie. You just quit calling it democratic socialism, okay? Call it progression. Call it evolution. Call it anything but what it actually is. Because when you start doing that, then you endanger. Okay, Bernie, you picked up less than half the votes out there, and we give you credit for that. Okay, you found that crowd out there that is as ignorant as they are stupid. And you got them to follow you. We want that. We need that. We need those true believers. But don't call it what it is. That's what the meeting was about.
If you keep doing it, Bernie, we're going to end up having to take you out.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do something about you. You and Debbie Wasserman Schultz. We've got to do something about you too.
We'll make sure you're no longer a senator, Bernie. That's what We'll find someone to replace you, Bernie.
Right now. He follows this up with a comment here I want to read real quick, just to reemphasize what I just said. I had been in office 3 weeks when I came here, meaning this was the first city he says he went to after he was elected. 3 weeks into his administration, Eckhart, Indiana was the first place he went to. And if I remember correctly, it was because they were in the process of trying to set up one of their new, what do you want to call it, their green energy plants or something like that. There's some kind of recycling thing that was going on. The renewable energy thing was kicking into gear. Creative destruction is what it is. Now, and I think that's where they set up a plant. Because if I remember right, a couple years ago, he was back there touting the success of the plant just before it closed down. Okay. Now, he says, I've been in office just 3 weeks when I came here. We were just a few months into what turned out to be the worst economic crisis in our lifetimes. Our businesses were losing 800,000 jobs a month. Our auto industry was about to go under. Our families were losing their savings and their health insurance. And as Kelly pointed out, they were in danger of losing their homes. Again, all because of the subprime lending meltdown and all because of Bill Clinton's expansion. He took the Redevelopment Reinvestment Act and put it on steroids. That is what caused the meltdown. Remember, we told you, I've explained to you on this show, that investments are cyclical. Okay? It takes 10 years to see the fruit or lack of fruit, depending on what somebody does, an administration does, to either allow or hinder the economy to either grow or not to grow. Okay? So what we saw with Bill Clinton, his thing came out and right towards the end of George Bush Jr.'s tenure, which was 8 years, falls right within that window of the cyclical nature of the stock market. And that's what happens. Everything collapsed. Okay? Now, the problem is Bush did nothing to restore it, and Obama certainly didn't do anything to restore it. So how long that is going to affect us cyclically, through this cycle, I don't know. We may never truly recover from this.
I mean, for crying out loud, what is the first thing? He bailed out the auto industry. He straight up bailed them out at the expense of shareholders.
Yeah. So I want to take a break here real quick, and then we'll come back and we'll try to finish this up in the time that we have left. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. We got a lot more for you.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing, and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Attention taxpayers! If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. All
right, hey, we're back. You're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. Sorry, there was a little bit of pause there. I was reading over the notes here on the break just to make sure I could keep everything in some kind of context. And I just was struck like a deer in the headlights reading this one paragraph here. I mean, Obama goes from touting his accomplishments into just outright lying. This is just really a lesson in not even liberal doublespeak. This is a lesson in deception. And when you're talking to blind masses, an ignorant electorate that would never even question the validity of what this man is claiming, and that's what you're going to see during the Clinton campaign. That's why I'm saying it. That's why we're covering this. These are the talking points we're going to hear over the next 6 months coming out of that hole in Clinton's face. And I don't even want to give it I don't know. I'm going to say something I shouldn't say, so I'm not going to say it. Okay.
Yeah, don't do that.
Okay. He goes on. President Obama goes on to tell us that he has that his administration invested in job training so that folks who lost their jobs could retool. Now, yes. I don't know what job training he's talking about unless he's talking about going from being a physicist to a Walmart greeter. But he said, we decided to invest in things like high-tech manufacturing and clean energy and infrastructure.
Solyndra?
Okay, yeah. So that entrepreneurs wouldn't just bring back the jobs that we had lost, but create new and better jobs. And the folks who had lost work from the construction industry because of the housing market had collapsed could go back to work rebuilding America. Now, here it goes. By almost every economic measure, America is better off than when I came here at the beginning of my presidency. That's the truth. That's true. It's true. Over the past 6 years, our businesses have created more than 14 million new jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's the longest stretch of consecutive private sector job growth in our history.
And I heard Hillary Clinton spouting that today.
Okay. We've seen the first sustained manufacturing growth since the 1990s. We cut unemployment in half, years before a lot of economists thought we would. We've cut the oil that we buy from foreign countries by more than half, doubled the clean energy that we produce. For the first time ever, here's one for you, more than 90% of the country has health insurance. I don't know what 90% of the country he's talking about.
Yeah, well, if they do, it costs them more, and they don't have the things that they want in their health plan.
I think he's probably talking about 90% of those who are here illegally but lawfully present.
Yeah, it's certainly not those waiting in line at the VA.
Right. Oh, okay. A poll last week. 2 out of 3 Americans think their family's financial situation is pretty good shape. I don't know where he got those numbers from.
That's not what I see.
Yeah, not what I see. Okay, now, he's the first to admit his presidency hasn't fixed everything. We've had setbacks. We've had false starts. We've frankly been stuck with a Congress recently that's opposed pretty much everything that we've tried to do. Okay?
Keep going.
Okay, now, when we get down here...
Go to the last line of that, or the last 2 sentences.
Yeah.
In that paragraph. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I miss something there?
No, I want you, because there's something I want to tell you about this.
Okay, all right.
So,
well, go ahead and do that, because I pretty much finished that. I'm going to get down into the actual
okay, so
points.
He goes, then I know that. He says, I know that communities like Elkhart have been forgotten by my, and the results prove that our focus has paid off. Elkhart proves it. Now, and I'm going to go to, he's talking about jobs, and I'm going to go to Elkhart, Indiana, and this little graph here that I pulled up. All employees, total non-farm jobs in Elkhart, Indiana. And in December of 2007, just before Obama took office, they had 128, almost 129,000. And I'm looking at 2016, April 2016, I said 129,000. I'm looking at now at 125,000. So 125 is less than 129. So how can he say that things are better there? when you've got still have 4,000 people less working in that community.
All right, yeah. When we talk about, first of all, let's just real quickly debunk a couple of these things. Let's talk about the 14 million jobs created by private sector.
Oh yes, we should.
Okay, now even that, let's look at that. That in and of itself is condemning of the Obama administration to begin with, because private sector creates jobs. The president doesn't. Okay, so, but we do understand that an administration has some effect on job creation in terms of what they produce in terms of regulations and taxes and things like that, and that can hinder, obstruct job creation. It can hinder and it can block investors from putting capital out there to grow businesses. Those things can happen. And I don't know how anybody in their right mind could say more regulations and more taxation has led to private sector growth.
So how many jobs did you say he created?
He's over 800. Let's see, what's the number here? Let me get back up here. I was scrolling down a little bit further. Let me get back up to my notes here. Okay. 14 million new jobs in the last 6 years.
Okay, because I'm just going to go with last month. And employers created 38,000 net new jobs. And most of those were in healthcare and government. But temporary jobs were 21,000 of those.
Okay. Now, you've just hit three branches or three types, three elements that make up today's job numbers. There was a time when public sector was not figured into job creation. It is today.
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's remember that when Barack Obama was called on this the first time, when he started touting how many jobs his administration was creating, and it was brought to his attention that private sector creates jobs, not government, he changed his wording from created jobs to saved jobs. Remember what the stimulus bill was about? It was about saving jobs. And what we found was a lot of that money was going in, giving raises to people in public sector so that they wouldn't, quote unquote, vacate their positions. As if anybody in public sector is just going to one day walk out of their job because they're disgusted with the economy. Okay, that's not going to happen. But at that point, public sector began to be considered part of the job market. And I'm not talking about contracting through public sector. I'm not talking about public sector contracting private sector. I'm talking about the actual creation, the 16,000 IRS agents that are going to make sure that you pay your Obamacare fees, your penalty if you don't buy Obamacare. Okay, those 16,000 jobs. Okay, that's what we're talking about here. So that's the kind of thing here, and I think we're going to expound more on this tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to have to.
We're going to have to, because this is the platform, guys, on which Hillary Clinton is going to run. And
it's
this is what,
at that. It's built on quicksand.
Yeah, and it's going to be shoved down our throat, and it's going to get stretched even more. You watch, by 3 months from now, Barack Obama has created every job that's in America.
Yeah, ever.
And it's just a total wonderment that we've even survived the 200 plus years that we've been a republic.
And in fact, he's going to have all the patents that Edison had, and he's going to have them all changed to his name.
That's right. And don't be surprised somewhere along the line here you start seeing those massive posters on the side of buildings like they do over in Russia and Iran and places like that. You know, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised.
Smiling face with Hillary's smiling face and a fist.
Yeah, right next to a picture of Chev Guria and Barack Obama.
Yeah.
So, okay, guys, we'll be back tomorrow. Where are we at on time? Yeah, we're almost out of time here.
Got to go.
Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. I want to remind everybody, visit our website, theconservativesyndicate.net. And, don't be afraid to shoot us emails. So we have a contact page there. You want to shoot us an email and tell us, what you think. You have your old points you want to make or something like that. Hey, feel free to do that.
Yeah, we miss things.
Yeah, we listen. We actually listen.
Yeah.
Of course, you can go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/The Conservative Syndicate, and you'll see everything. A lot of the stuff that we talk about here, I actually post out there first to get an idea or try to get some kind of gauge as to how much attention it's getting. I'm surprised how little attention some of these things that we actually talk about get on Facebook and social media. But then I can turn around and post some stupid picture about somebody, and the thing is flooded. Okay, it's amazing. I posted that picture yesterday on the Growacet drug, and that thing has been saturated. So anyway, hey, thanks again for listening, guys, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. We love you. We'll see you later.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Conservative Syndicate, the globally syndicated, politically incorrect talk show that seeks to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state. We want to make you aware you can find and access all of our show archives at our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, as well as our broadcast stations and times. That's the conservativesyndicate.net. We so appreciate you taking time to tune in, and we so look forward to continuing to bring you the best and uncompromised talk radio available on the net today. And remember, folks, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down in life. It only matters how many times you get up. I'm John Matthews, signing off until next time, right here on the Conservative Syndicate. God bless you, and may God continue to bless America.